with John Eklund, always someone I enjoy talking rugby league with. He's made his return to coaching after a few years out, working with the Auckland Rugby League as the CEO, and in that time being involved a little bit with some of the Auckland Vulcans under-21 teams and that sort of thing. So great to hear from those coaches. While we do wait, we've got the reserve game on between Otara and Otahuhu, and try to understand Otara with a comfortable lead in this one so far. So as we kind of build towards kickoff in this match, Troy's going to run us through some of the results from last weekend and have a look at what's been going on around the grounds.
Okay, well, we'll just have a look at the Sharman Cup, the Crown Lift Trucks Premiership. In regards to Otahuhu, they came off the back of a good win against the Papatoe Panthers, 46-14. Newland Stags had a great game against the Ellerslie Eagles. They won 36-16. Otara Scorpions went down to Ponsonby Ponies last week, and the score there were the Ponies were 38, Scorpions 28. And the game that we called, Corey, which was an absolute cliffhanger, was the Bay Roskill Vikings and the Manurewa Marlins. And how good was that game, mate? Bay Roskill taking that one out at 30 points to 26.
Yeah, it was fantastic. A last-minute try to Bay Roskill, getting them over the line, and a really good game to kick off the season. And of course, we do have a number of live stream games this year, which Troy will talk a little bit more about. But different conditions today. Troy, we had brilliant sunshine last week. Today, a very wet Bert Hennon Park, a little bit of wind around. So certainly going to be a bit of a different game this week, I would think. So Troy, we'll get you to tell us a little bit about the ladder in the competitions, starting with the Sharman Cup, the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup.
Yep, sure will. So Otahuhu are on top of the ladder at the moment with their 2 points in there on the #1 pole position due to their aggregate. Number 2, Newland Stags. In 3rd position, the Ponsonby Ponies. In 4th, Bay Roskill Vikings. In 5th position is the Manurewa Marlins. 6 is Otara Scorpions, who are up today against the Otahuhu Leopards. And also we have the Ellerslie Eagles at number 7, with rounding out the bottom is the Papatoe Panthers. In regards to today's matches around Auckland, here live streaming courtesy of the Auckland Rugby League, and a big thank you to our sponsors, Crown Lift Trucks, is the Otahuhu Leopards up against Otara Scorpions, and that's a 2:30 p.m. kickoff. So make sure that you're here, share and like us on the Auckland Rugby League Facebook page, or also our website www.aucklandleague.co.nz. Other games playing today, Bay Roskill are playing the Newland Stags, and they're at Blockhouse Bay. Ellerslie Eagles are up against the Papatoe Panthers, and they're at Ellerslie Domain. And the Ponsonby Ponies are going to have a massive clash with the Manurewa Marlins, and that's at Victoria Park. And that game there would be another one to to swing by and actually catch it live too if you're in the area.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if we saw Manurewa in action last week, and they were unlucky losers in the end against Bay Roskill. They had a man sent to the sin bin, played the whole match with 16 men after having a player sent off for having no mouthguard. So Manurewa were a really good footy side last week, Troy, and of course Ponsonby were first up winners against Otara, who we're going to see in action today, winning that one 38-28. So that one promises to be a really thrilling encounter, I feel.
And look, just having a quick look around the traps against our other competitions, I want to talk a wee bit around the Women in League. For those out there who are watching the stream live now, you may well have seen the karaoke video. That's gone to over 35,000 people. It's been watched nearly 10,000 times. And to the young ladies that took part in the questions that we asked, I want to thank them very, very much, sincerely. And there's a wee bit of entertainment to be had there. So if you can get on the Auckland Rugby League Facebook page, check out the Women in League video, and you can see a wee bit of our talent. Yep, they can carry the ball. My question is, can they carry a tune?
Very good. And just on that, Troy, you know, one thing you do notice with working with women in the game, players and coaches and administrators, is they're fantastic ambassadors for our game, and we notice that from the grassroots right up to the Kiwi Ferns. Always more than happy to promote the game, talk about what they do, and really try and grow the game. And as we are down here today at Bert Hennon Park, I see that it looks like the ARL Under-15 girls competition has some games going on. So excellent to see the Women's League is prospering, and of course, why wouldn't it? The Kiwi Ferns are a fantastic team. We've seen them in action at the NRL Auckland Nines against the Australian Jillaroos. There's a World Cup coming up at the end of the year. And there's a clear pathway for these girls to showcase their talents on a world stage.
Absolutely, mate. And look, and just having a quick look at the round 7 for the Women in League, the Auckland Rugby League Women's League. round, and that is the Richmond Roses played the Mangere East Ladyhawks last night. Manurewa Marlin Wahinis against the Marist Saints, and today, Sunday, Te Atatu Ladies are up against the Waitemata Seagulls. Point Chevalier Buccaneers are playing Otahuhu Blues, and the Papakura Sisters are up against the Manukau Magpies. And just having a quick look at their ladder, and the ladder is to Friday night. Mara Sisters in top position, again on aggregate, followed very closely by the Manurewa Marlins, the Wahinis. Number 3, Papakura Sisters. Number 4th position, Otahuhu Blues. And 5th, the Richmond Roses. 6, Point Chevalier Buccaneers. 7, Te Atatu Ladies. 8, Waitemata Seagulls. 9, Mangere East Ladyhawks. And rounding out the bottom there, the Manukau Magpies. I suppose we talk a wee bit around Fox now.
Yeah, that's right, and another big round of Fox Memorial footy underway today, and it'll be, I dare say, a wet round all over Auckland. You know, we saw some really good games last week. Glenora getting up for a huge victory over Mount Albert, which really kind of heats up that immediate race, I guess, for the number 2, number 3 sort of spot on the ladder. Howick going really well as well, and Papakura starting to get a few guys back and click into some form, Troy. So we run through the results from last week, Troy, and there's a couple of interesting ones in there.
Absolutely, mate. You've already touched on the Mount Albert Lions against Glenora Bears. Glenora took that game out 20 points to 16, so it must have been a very tight clash down there. And so Glenora showing some good form in that game. Point Chevalier Pirates continued to march through the competition. Against Marist Saints, they beat them 46 to 18. Howick Hornets 36 against the Northcote Tigers at 14. Papakura Seagulls, as you mentioned, a few of their personnel are back now, and had a strong outing against the Te Atatu Roosters, and they won that match 50 points to 4. Mangere East Hawks in a close match against the Richmond Bulldogs. However, the Bulldogs took that out, and they won that match 28-16. Just having a quick look at the ladder as it stands. At the top of the table, Point Chevalier Pirates. Howick Hornets are in second place, and I think the personnel and the group over there will be quite happy with that result this far into the season. Papakura Premiers are in third position. Glenora Bears are in fourth. Mount Albert are in fifth, and I dare say that they won't be happy being in the fifth position, Corey. Sixth is the Marist Saints. 7, Richmond Bulldogs. In the 8th position is the Northcote Tigers. And one of the big clashes that we're having today that we promoted at the Auckland Rugby League is the bottom of the table, being Te Atatu Roosters up against Mangere East. Looking at the Mangere East personnel, they've got a fairly young team, and you know, they've been taken to task a wee bit this season. Te Atatu Roosters, however, the newly promoted club, and I know Revel Neal out there has been doing, you know, good work with those guys, and they'll be looking to get a win today.
Yeah, and speaking a little bit to Revel Neal yesterday, he was talking about how important these games are to get the wins against teams around you on the table and take that pressure off yourself in the second round. And we saw Richmond do it last year, Troy, where they picked up a couple of really good wins in the first round and then were able to relax a little bit in the second round and play some really good footy. So, look, the clashes at the bottom are just as important as the one at the top. And, you know, you get the feeling already that it's, you know, Te Atatu, Northcote and Mangere East that are going to be sort of jostling to avoid relegation there. So these games are huge, and we will bring you those results throughout the day as we get them.
Cool. So just having a quick look around the traps now for the SAS Fox Memorial. Northcote Tigers are playing Papakura, and that is at the Birkenhead War Memorial. So 2:30 kickoff. For any rugby league fans on the shore, please swing in and see that game. Richmond Bulldogs are up against Mount Albert. That'll be a fantastic match, and that's at Grey Lynn, so the home of the Bulldogs, and I know they'll get really well supported out there for that game. In regards to Marist Saints are up against the Howick Hornets, and that's at Murray Halberg. And the big clash today, outside the bottom of the table, is the Point Chevalier Pirates up against the Glenora Bears, and I believe that is a Conica Minolta Root Rooster challenge, and you know, so they're playing for something on the line there. I'm picking the Bears coming off last week's game. They'll be going into that game, you know, with a lot of confidence, and it'll be interesting to see how well they go. So if there's anybody watching the live stream today that might well be at the Unitec ground watching the Point Chevalier Pirates playing the Glenora Bears, please hit us on our Twitter account or text us or even messenger us on the Facebook. Come
Get
on,
it to
help
us
me
somehow.
now.
Get it to us somehow.
Get it to us somehow and let us know what the what that score is. And of course, the game of the round that we've already touched on was the Mangere East Hawks against the Te Atatu Roosters, and that game is at Walter Massey. So good luck to all of the teams that are playing, you know, not long from now.
Yeah, and a look at some of those clashes, Troy. You know, you look at Howick this year. They've got a couple of boys who are in that New Zealand Warriors system. I think Gibson Papalai, the winger, he's scored at least 2 tries, I think, in the last 3 weeks. He's made the KiwiLeagueCentral.com Team of the Week 3 weeks in a row, I think it is. King Vuniyayawa on fire there, former Manurewa player. So lots of talent that's been involved in that elite Warriors system that's coming back down and enriching this Fox Memorial Premiership competition. And it's fantastic to see those players coming back and servicing the local game.
Just to sort of round out the rest of our teams that currently play, we've got the Sharman Cup Crown Lift Trucks plate, and inside that for last week's round 1, Waitemata Sea Eagles had an absolutely barnstorming game against the Pakuranga Jaguars. Excuse me if I'm sounding a little bit stuffy, you know, being out in the rain and the cold and the wet because we love the game. Got a little bit of a flu, so hopefully a wee bit later on Corey's going to rub some Vicks on my chest. Aren't you, Corey? And in regards to the other game that was played was the Hibiscus Coast Raiders. They were up against the East Coast Bay Barracudas, and the Raiders won that match 20-10, and Manukau are on the bye. Just having a quick look at the ladder there. Top of the table due to aggregate is the Waitemata Sea Eagles. We've got in second place the Manukau Magpies. Third place Hibiscus Coast Raiders. That's the hooter to the end of the reserve game you can hear in the background. And just as I jump out of frame, I can comfortably say that Otara won that game. Can't tell you what the score is just yet because the score man's standing in front of the score.
Welcome to Grassroots Rugby League, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, we're loving it. So East Coast based Barracudas were in 4th place, and rounding out the bottom of the Sharman Cup Crown Lift Trucks plate competition is the Pakuranga Jaguars. Okay, not long to go now as the teams out there get ready to sort of shake hands. Corey, and what sort of game are you expecting today, Chief?
Oh, look, I think it's going to be fairly middle orientated. I think there's probably not going to be too much second phase play. We're not going to see the Steedham thrown around too much. It is very wet down here. It's also quite cold, Troy, so you know, the cold hands always sort of plays a part in that one as well. So look, I think it'll be a really good match. I think Otara have obviously brought a little bit of talent across this year. A lot of them Otara juniors coming back to the club. You know, they're a well-coached side under Shantae Taratu, and of course, well, Otahuhu speaks for themselves. Their first year in the 2nd division. Very eager to get back, I would say, Troy. In fact, you know, obsessed with success, I think, is a motto that kind of springs to mind with Otahuhu. And look, they've had a rough run of late, but they are desperate to get back, and no better man to lead them than John Ackland, who we spoke to earlier. So I think it's going to be a really, really good game. Hopefully the quality's not too affected by the conditions today. And it could be an important game as well to kind of decide the shape potentially of that top 4. I think both these teams will be in the mix there. You know, Otara had a bit of a rough run in the grading rounds, but I think it's going to be a pretty good match today, Troy. Yeah,
I tend to agree with you. There's a lot of support for Otahuhu to, you know, to do well and to get out of the Sharman Cup and head back. You know, talking to John earlier, they did mention that, you know, the personnel, they'd been hit with a couple of injuries. They've got a number of young guys inside the team. However, you know, they're, as far as the round is concerned, they're sitting in the right place on the table. And today will be a good test for them. You know, I think we're going to see some big boys here. And if anything from last week's to go by, you know, there were some big lads just running hard, running straight. They were, you know, like, I mean, there wasn't a lot of flair in regards to how hard they were hitting the line. And I dare say, you know, there would have been some boys hitting on Monday, Tuesday after that match.
Yeah, that's right, and you know, it's one of the best parts of the Auckland competition is some of the forward battles you see, and whether it's in the 1st division or the 2nd division, there are some really good players, big boys, but also skillful boys who have got a bit of footwork, got an offload as well. So you know, no doubt we'll see a few of them here today. Otahuhu are missing one of their veterans, and Freddie Turafanua, who is a big loss for them. A kind of forward leader, I guess, but one to watch for Otahuhu, I feel, is Connor Purcell. Now, we saw Connor really stand out at the SportSafe ARL Auckland Nines earlier this year, playing for Otahuhu. Played really well. Again, we mentioned the skills of the big men. Showed a little bit of skill there. So he's certainly one to watch out for. And for Otara, well, they've got a couple of really talented backs. I think the skipper, Terence Montgomery, is going to be a real key guy. He's come across from Otahuhu last year and is leading the team. So I think he's named on the wing today, can play a bit of fullback as well. So different things at play in this game, but I think it's going to be a good one, Troy.
Awesome, mate. Now, look, if you've just tuned in and joined us on the live stream, courtesy of the Auckland Rugby League, please like and share the stream. Get as many friends and family involved as you can. For all the rugby league fans, this is something that we put free to air, and we're about to see a fairly good clash today against the Otahuhu Leopards playing the Otara Scorpions. As the guys are warming down out here, we can see right over on the far side the Otara squad along with the Otahuhu Leopards warming up now, getting ready for the main game kickoff. If you are in the area and you have nothing on, come and join us down here at Bird Henman. It's a 2:30 kickoff. Make sure you bring something warm, hence why I'm in 3 jackets and a hat and a hoodie. And come down and join us. Now, just as we're sort of getting ready for the ARL Sharman Cup kickoff, do we dare talk about the Warriors, Corey?
Well,
we're sitting back for this chat, are we? We're sitting back.
Where do we start?
Well, let's start in Hamilton.
The first thing that kind of springs to mind is 3 weeks ago this was a pretty good NRL team. They were they ground out a victory against the Sydney Roosters, built off their defence. They showed some toughness, and then the last 2 weeks, admittedly it was only one half against Penrith, but look, they just couldn't match St George Illawarra in the middle of the park, and I think St George neared 2,000 running metres last night. It was just incredible. Paul Vaughan, New South Wales Origin hopeful, he had 200 on his own. Russell Packer was excellent. And the Warriors just had no answer to it, and that's not to say that there weren't individual standouts for the Warriors, because I thought Ben Madaleno was really good as he continues his recovery from the knee injury and builds back to full fitness. Jacob
just
Williams
on his try, mate. Sorry to cut in. Ben's try, the one we went through the gap there, looked like he was strolling in, or he had a hammy problem.
Well, last night was Ben's 200th NRL game, and I think that would be the first time in his career he's found himself out the back door there. He's where the fullback should be standing, really. And Kieran Foran swung the ball out, probably expecting Roger Tuivasa-Sheck to get there. Instead, Big Ben gets it, strolls towards the line. Looked like he probably could have gone over pretty easy, Troy. Decided to go back, and I think maybe just wanted a bit of contact, wanted to have the feeling of pushing someone over the line. But it was nice to see Ben get over the line there, and he's obviously been a tremendous servant for the club. He's headed to the West Tigers at the end of the year to link up with Ivan Cleary. But yeah, look, from a team point of view, Troy, where do the Warriors go from here?
Mate, that's a $64,000 question, and I'm just a humble Auckland Rugby League worker. If I had the answer to that question, I'm sure that there'd be a number of us up there at Mount Smart Stadium, getting in behind the boys. Because look, at the end of the day, they are our professional rugby league team, and we've got to love the Warriors. They're our side that go up against the Australian clubs week in and week out, and we just really want the best for them. And for all the heartbreak out there, I heard some of the Warrior fans this morning talking on Talkback Radio, and for some of the guys that are burning jerseys and all the rest of it. Look, I sort of get that, but really, I don't know if that's going to help. And I know a lot of people, as you do, Corey, have been Warriors fans since 1995, and it's been a long time between one making a final and two trying to get back there. And I think at the moment making the top four this year looks like a bit of a distant dream.
Yeah, well, I think, doing a few calculations this morning, I think they'll probably need to get to 28 points, and, I forget how many wins that is, but at this stage it would seem unlikely that they're going to get there. But you just never know. The Warriors' traditional good period is coming up. Traditionally, if you look at the Warriors' season, it's split into thirds. It'll be a slow start, a really good period through the middle, as State of Origin happens, where they tend to string 6-7 games together and really hit some form, and then they fall away, unfortunately, at the end of the year, and that's what's cost them a final spot the last few years. So look, Warriors fans, don't give up hope. They've done it before, and they're not a bad footy team. They're just a footy team that's playing badly right now, and you just never know what'll happen. But Troy, the NRL is a tough competition, isn't it?
Absolutely,
you can be just that little bit off and get flogged by 20 points. It's a brutal competition.
Yeah, it is, mate. And as I said, my heart goes out to all the Warriors fans. you know, we wish them all the best, you know, nothing but the best, to be fair, and to get back in and, you know, and to compete and be in the contest, you know, and make it meaningful. So let's hope they get back into it and they turn it around this week. Okay, so as we turn our attention now to the main game down here at the Auckland Rugby League, live streaming brought to you courtesy of the Crown Lift trucks. We're getting ready now. We're at Bert Henman Park, and as I'm sort of talking out, I'm going to see whether the cameraman can bring our team list up for us, and we'll have a look at that, and I'll get Corey to articulate all of the names, because he does a wee bit of homework on this, and it's always a pleasure to be with you, Corey, in regards to the games that we're doing. Just in regards to the games, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you join us next week. We're going to be coming live from the Roosters home park. It's going to be our first SAS Fox Memorial game, and they're down there playing the big guns, the Point Chevalier Pirates, so a little bit of a derby, if you will, with you know, the teams being fairly close. But that's going to be a cracker, and it's going to be our first time from the home of the Te Atatu Roosters. So all you Roosters fans, come down and join us, and let's see how Tat goes on that day. Yeah, and it's nice to see a streamed game going to Te Atatu, obviously newly promoted this year. Traditionally, you know, that's been the team that's missed out, the newly promoted team have missed out on a TV game. So it's going to be really exciting to get up there, and again, talking to Rev O'Neill, the coach of the Te Atatu Roosters, last week, he said there is, you know, a really positive vibe around the club. They're really enjoying it, and I think we're going to have an excellent match down there. So, switching now to today's match between Otahuhu and the Otara Scorpions, and we will run you through the team list, and there are a few changes to that which we have listed, ladies and gentlemen. So, a few injuries and a little bit of sickness has caused a few guys to come out, so we'll run them through as they are, and as I mentioned, it will be a little bit different to what's appearing on your screen currently. So at the back, in the number 1 for Otahuhu, Geronimo Doyle. The wings were made up of the number 2, Julius Felice, and 5, Sean Motu Moivavave. The centres, Sitovini Tofa and Sione Lolo. In the halves, Siali Kaifotu teams up with Brody Clark. And of course, the Clark family name, a famous name around these ways here at the Otahuhu Club. He's returning from a stint overseas, and comes back via time spent with Papakura, Pakuranga and Howick as well. In the front row, well, he's almost the veteran of the squad, and John Ackland highlighted him as a real leader. Katamero Otara played in the premiers here at Otahuhu back in 2014. At hooker, and this is one for the commentators, Troy, a hard one to pronounce for sure, but it's Thomas Va'afu Saanga. And he will be wearing the number 18 but playing hooker. The number 10, we highlighted him earlier, Connor Purcell, a bit of experience with the Canberra Raiders under-20s. The back row will be made up of Ataniso Kuia, Philippe Vaifasi, and the 13, Joshua Shanahan Nicholson. And the bench for Otahuhu will be made up of 14, Richard Halani, the 15, Benjamin Benedict, 16, Penny Pepper, and 17, Taniela Rasaka. And one thing that stands out about this Otahuhu team, Troy, is the youthfulness of it. Quite a few 18-year-olds in there, so they are certainly a young team compared to Otara, who we will quickly run through now for you. And as I mentioned, once again, ladies and gentlemen, it will appear a little bit differently on your screen. So at the back, Raymond Makaili in the number 1. The number 2, Fanutelli Nanai Saturu. And in the 5, the captain, Terence Montgomery. The centres are made up of Yeti Fatalainga and Samuela Huanga. The 6 is George. The 7 is George Plianga, and ladies and gentlemen, that's not a We've cornered the market on Georges.
That's right. We've got
any more Georges coming to play?
3 Georges in the halves. It might well be a rugby league record. Starting on the front row, he's going to wear the 16, Regan Tierra, joined by Paul Long A, Toi Fafua. Number 9 is Iloni Tofa. And going into the back row, Michael Blacher, Dave Ezekiel. 13, Jackson Favonga, and the 14, Hansel Simao. 17, Leofatu Lasone, and the 15, Junior Sheck, and that rounds out the Otara squad. And of course, Otahuhu, coached by John Ackland, formerly of the Junior Warriors, and also coached Samoa at the 2008 Rugby League World Cup. And Otara coached by a coach probably at the other end of the experience spectrum. I spent a long time here at Otahuhu with the under-20s, and it's Shantain Taratu. So as the teams line up for their final talking to, and just run over a few little rules here, the wind's starting to pick up a little bit here, Troy, which is probably going to have an effect, particularly for the halves and the back 5, I dare say.
Absolutely, and I dare say the kicks will play a part in this today as well. So You know, if you've got the wind on your back in the first half, you'll definitely need to make use of it. Okay, the referees are now having the team chat that Corey's just alluded to. They're working out which way they're going, and it looks like Otara is getting ready to kick off with Otahuhu receiving. Just a big thank you to the Auckland Referees Association. If you're wanting to become a referee, please look on our website, aucklandleague.co.nz. You know, it's a great place to not just be involved with the sport and have the best seat in the game, but also they're a great bunch of guys and girls down there, and they're involved with our rugby league game from mini mods right through to the premiers, and I understand they have a wee bit of a social life down there too. So if you are looking to be a referee, please join the click on to our website, aucklandleague.co.nz, and check that out there. Okay, we're getting ready to kick off live now down at Bert Henman Park for a 2:30 arrival. If you are in the area, come down and join us. There's plenty of room up on the embankment there or around the car park, and come and enjoy some live rugby league action brought to you by the Auckland Rugby League.
And the Scorpions are going to get us away today, ladies and gentlemen, kicking towards the road end of the ground here at Bert Henman Park. And away we go, and it's a big kick down towards the end goal. A fairly deep one to start with, but fielded nicely by Brodie Clark.
Good tackle, chopped them low.
Yeah, good first up contact there to make the statement, I guess. So Otahuhu now shifted out wide. And you see straight away plenty of intent from Otara, and they were slow starters last week. They lamented a slow start, which cost them in the end, and I think it was 38-28 loss against Ponsonby. And I think, you know, Otara easily won the second half in that one, so they'll be out to make a quick start in this one as Otahuhu finish their first set with a kick which goes down to the back, and it bounces over the top of Raymond McKiley. Returns it to about 22 metres off his line, and Montgomery now into dummy half. Blatcher with the carry forward. It's a good run, attracts two defenders in, gets a quick play of the ball as well.
Took the one play of the ball there from Otara Scorpions for their team to get back into position, to find some shape. They're there now. Let's see what they do with this set of six.
Dave Ezekiel there with the carry forward. And we mentioned, obviously, Otara were first up losers last week, but for Otahuhu it was a different story. They won comfortably against the Papatoetoe side. And John Ackland pretty happy with the form that his side showed in that opening encounter of the competition proper, as we see a high ball go up, down towards the back, but it's fielded safely by Geronimo Doyle.
Over here in the defence line for Otahuhu on the Leopards, you know, we've got a prop and a second row standing out here in the centres. So let's hope that ball's with Otahuhu, so they might get a chance to run it out. And at the moment it's sort of one off the ruck, Corey, both sides. Maybe the weather's playing part of that as well, you know, just keeping it tight and having a little bit of patience.
Yeah, that's right. It's the kind of day where you want to start pretty conservatively, I would say. Try and complete a few sets and build a little bit of pressure. That's a good carry forward there, I think, from Purcell.
Any relation to Eddie?
Not that I know of, Troy. I know that obviously Connor did spend a little bit of time over in Australia with the Canberra under-20s, I believe, and this is his second year playing for the Leopards Premiers.
See Otara slow to get back into position, eh?
Yeah, that's right. It's taking their time there, and it's a little dart from the three. Yeti Fita Lainga, as Blatcher is tackled strongly in a three-man tackle from the Leopards. Tuala shifts towards his left. Dave Ezekiel with a carry. Tuala now a little dart. Dummies out towards the left. Shows, goes, finds his number 7, George Pulianga. He's tackled well out on the left edge. Switches back infield to Tuala, who puts a good little kick through and chases it up with a really good kick chase, and they get there in numbers, Otara, so a good solid set from them there, Troy. Plenty of intent on the kick chase, the key.
Absolutely, and you know, they're keeping Otahuhu inside their 20. Otara's, you know, been down here for most of the game, and even though when I say most of the game, we've only been on for a bit less than 5 minutes, but they seem to be doing everything right at this stage. And did you say Polyhinga?
Yeah,
No.
not of James Pulianga
Okay, so
fame from the Auckland Rugby League, of course, long-serving ARL development officer who departed this week, Troy, and a sad day for the Auckland Rugby League. James has always been a fantastic servant to the organisation and brought through a number of promising players through the ARL's Jets camp and other initiatives in the primary school and intermediate school rugby league, as well as the college rugby league.
just as Otahuhu put the kick up, I can say that James left 4 photos of his face around my office, so I probably won't be forgetting him for some time. So Otahuhu first time down on the Otara Scorpions half, and let's see what their energy's like on defence and trying to contain them here.
So a good start for both teams. I think both coaches will be pretty happy with this. No errors to start the match so far, so both teams completing well, which is really good given the conditions especially. And Troy, one thing we did see last week in the Bay Roscoe-Manurewa game was a high error rate, plenty of penalties as well, so nice to see this one's been tidy so far as Tuala heads out towards his left. And they tackle just over halfway. Montgomery calling for the ball out on the right. Instead it will go to the left. And it's Pulianga who hoists a big kick down towards the back. Well fielded in the end by, I think it may have been Sidaveni Tofa. And if we do identify any of the players wrong, we do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. A little hard as the players are coming out of yardage with the camera angles, but we'll do our best to identify them. And the same thing with pronunciations, we'll do our very best with them. Some of them are a little tricky, but we always do our best to make sure we get them right. Otahuhu head back out towards the left. Philippe Faisi tackled well there.
Good strong carry from the front rower. Yeah, having a breather now.
And the kick again finds space, and it's a really good kick from the Leopards, and it's sneaking in goal. Is it going to hold up? I think it is going to, which means Raymond Makaili is going to have to play it up, but it's an excellent kick return. No, it's not.
Taking it into touch.
He's bitten off a little bit too much there, but Troy was initially, well, first of all, a really, really good kick to just land that one in the end goal there. Kick return appeared good, but ran a little too close to the sideline there and forced out. So advantage Leopards here. They will get the first real attacking chance of the game. They're going to start this set about 15 metres off their line, and we're going to get a chance to see what they can do. We see a little reshuffle in their structure here.
Just as that happens, I've been given communication in the background on the stopper play here that the meat raffle is still going down at the Otahuhu Club Room. So if you are coming down and you're in the Birmingham area, come and join us, and also put your $2 in for the famous Otahuhu meat raffle to help generate some funds for the club.
So as we wait for the scrum to be packed down, heavily set out towards the left with Clark in at first receiver. Instead they go to the right, so a little trick play there perhaps from the Leopards. And it almost comes off with Doyle going close.
Otara under pressure here on the line.
Va'afu Sanga tackled just short, they head out towards the left. A little bit of footwork there, but fairly conservative to start this set from Otahuhu. Don't want to throw the ball around too much, but yeah, as you mentioned, a little bobble at dummy half there, and you probably put that one down to the conditions. You did have a little look up to see where it was going and just lost sight of the ball. So Otara survived that one, and they'll be relieving for them after that mistake on the kick return. They'll work the ball off about their 10-metre line.
And I think the boys in the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup competition have got a fairly long season. You know, they play each other twice, you know, as they head towards the finals. And, you know, just to get to here, I think they've already played 8 games, what have you. So it's been a pretty long season for them all as they were getting seeded. And, you know, it's going to be, I dare say, you know, the old cliche, the fittest will survive. Otara now taking it out of their 20. Oh!
Big contact there from Blatcher.
He got the big hello.
Tuala shifts it towards the left. Nice little carry there from Penny Pepper. A late call-up from the reserves game, I believe.
Bit of communication happening with the Otara Scorpions now. They're looking to get a shift on. Good kick. Find a bit of space. And the Otara wing is there.
Yeah, Montgomery getting close. Might have got taken off the ball there. Referee says play on. So plenty of, again, intent in the kick chase from the Scorpions, and Montgomery there with some good line speed takes them down, so they're going to make the Leopards really work for it here. And another big shot from Montgomery.
Otahuhu boys still slow to get back into position.
The captain leading by example there with a couple of really good tackles. And Otahuhu struggling a little bit, but that's a good carry out of danger by the number 2, Julius Felice.
Here he comes. No, they've decided to go wide.
So Va'a Fusanga into dummy half, but there is a little drop there, so a second error from the Leopards, so back-to-back errors here. Going to put them under a little bit of pressure. This one, it's just over halfway, so they are going to defend an attacking set here from the Scorpions. So now Otara with their first chance on the lines. We see Montgomery coming back out to his wing, and the captain's had a couple of really nice touches defensively already. Good kick chase there earlier. So we'll pack the scrum down right in the middle of the park.
No, the referee's not happy.
It's almost a tradition now. Of course, these are little issues with scrums. We see it in the NRL all the time as well, where it seems to at times take an age to pack down a scrum. A couple of players doing what they're not supposed to there. As Otara go out towards the left, and it was a good thought. The ball spills loose, and it's going to be a knock-on, I think. And it looks like we're going to have a Leopards ball, so just perhaps a little bit of impatience there from Otara Troy with tackles up their sleeve.
Absolutely, and that's it's always something that a coach loves when you're only on your first or second tackle, and you know you spill it and you're back to resetting, and don't get the opportunity to mount a bit of pressure. Now, now the winger's just gone into the scrum.
The winger's also the captain, so Terence Montgomery wants to have a quick chat with our referee here. Just get clarification on something. Jogs back up to his wing, and that's disadvantage of having, I guess, your wingers there. Skipper Troy's got a long way to run whenever he wants to have a chat to the man in charge. But we get back to the game now, and the Leopards approach halfway there, and the outside backs getting involved in some of the ball carrying. Another good tackle there. Carry, I should say, from Felice. Good first up contact there on Joshua Shannon Nicholson, 19-year-old lock. Connor Purcell now in with a carry, and it's a good carry, good leg drive from the big fella. Attracts a couple in and gets the quick play of the ball.
Good healthy 10 metres too. The referee's given the teams a wee bit of space to move in. Otahuhu again on the attack.
So Clark, a little dummy, dribbles a kick through. They've got numbers here if they can, but a brave take from Montgomery down low. Always hard when you have to go for those ones around the knees of the attacking players, but Montgomery does really well there to defuse that one. And this is a good game of football we've got developing here, ladies and gentlemen. A good arm wrestle. Seen some clever kicking from both teams, and there's only been 2 errors, I think it is, in the match, or 3, I should say. 2 for the Leopards and 1 for the Scorpions so far. As Otara ruck it out up towards halfway, Tuala moves to his left. Puleanga brings the big fella in.
You can sort of see the Otara boys have spent a bit of time together. They're obviously, you know, coming from that under-20s core crew. They look like they've got a good understanding playing with one another. Up against, you know, the Otahuhu side, which is under John Ackland, who would be adding, you know, structure and systems in place for these guys to, you know, to execute the plan. So it's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, and we can't really say enough how young some of this Otahuhu team is. You know, there's a couple of 18-year-olds in there, a couple of 19-year-olds, so they are a youthful team. They will get a bit of experience back when they get some guys back from injuries as the year goes on, but for the time being doing pretty well with their young lineup. And they get to the end of the kick there, and it's
just as the Otara player brings the ball back to the defence line, you can hear that the Otahuhu meat raffle has been called. Corey?
And it's like a little game in itself, really, isn't it? Waiting for the meat raffle results.
Waiting for the red diamond 23.
I do have to say, always enjoy these trips down to Burt Hennon Park. Fantastic club. Such a rich history here at Otahuhu. Of course, you know, we know about the Kiwi captains that have come through here.
the likes of Mark Graham, Ruben Wiki, to name a couple of them. So always good to get down here to a real stronghold of rugby league in New Zealand, as the Scorpions now work up into danger territory, and Blatcher gets it off a short ball. Tackled well in a three-man tackle. Last tackle coming up. What have the Scorpions got here? Tuala into dummy half. Shuffles it out to his right, and a little kick dribbled through now, and it hasn't been diffused immediately by Doyle. I think he's got there to recover well in the end, but it'll be back-to-back sets. So an excellent finish there from the Scorpions to win the repeat set. Showed some good patience. You don't have to score every time you're down here, but a repeat set there, a good result for the Scorpions.
The halfback there for the Scorpions.
Yeah, George Pulianga, another of the Georges.
Okay, one of the 4 or 5 Georges that are out there. He's actually been good with his kicks so far in this game. He's been finding space, and he's been putting the Otahuhu boys under a wee bit of pressure. So I dare say that the Otara coach will be happy with that at this point, as they set the scrum now, and inside the Leopards 20 with the feed to come. Getting ready. And a big hello to Craig Gray out there and a few of the boys that are watching the live stream. Thank you very much for clicking on, and send us a few shares and likes. That would be manners. Otara now spinning it to the left-hand edge.
Yeah, Mikhaili with a good run and almost breaks through down that left edge for the Scorpions. A little dart out of dummy half. So they're not far off the line here, and they're set deep towards the right. Instead they dart left. Looks like he might have got there. Plenty of appeals from the Otara team, and it is indeed a try, ladies and gentlemen, and didn't quite catch the number there under the massive bodies, but the Scorpions are on the board. 4 points to 0 as we approach the 16th minute of this match. And Troy, it was simple in the end, just a little dart out towards the left. It looked like perhaps the Leopards were expecting the ball to be swung out towards the right, but Scorpions get it there. Repeat set's the key. We mentioned the kicking game of George Pulianga, which forced the repeat set earlier and laid the groundwork for that try.
Yeah, I think Otara's kicking game's been the better so far with the 16 minutes gone. That young half seems to, young George, he seems to, got his boots on today. The chat for the Otahuhu Leopards down there behind the line. What do you think's going on down there at this point, Corey?
Oh, there'll be no worries there. I don't think they're playing good footy. They will, I'm sure, be pretty confident that they're right in the arm wrestle right now, and it's a pretty even ball game, and they're going to get their chance to reply soon. So really good start from both teams, and we'd compare it to last week's game, which was played in dry conditions, and we saw a number of handling errors today in the wet and the cold. Really economic football, I guess, from both teams, and good to see, and we shaping as a high quality match here as we see the kids rolling down the back of the bank here at Bert Henham. And over the years, plenty of sons and daughters of rugby league players over the years spent their afternoons rolling down the bank there. Troy, perhaps even yourself?
Mate, it'd be fair to say the only bank I rolled down was probably at Carlaw Park. And that's another story. And the kick was, the flags went up, and as they come back now to get ready to kick off, I think there was a wee bit of economic football, not that many mistakes going on compared to last week's games. And look, and as we spoke earlier today, whether it's this match, the Marlins match against Bay Roskill Vikings, the Warriors last night, or our Kiwis, as you know, I keep banging on about, forwards win games and the backs determine how much you win by. And there's a few big boppers in both of these teams. And I think if the forwards get to lay the platform, especially with regards to the way the weather is, you might see a wee bit of ball movement with the pill getting thrown around. Saying that, Otara looked like they're taking a wee bit of confidence out of that, Corey, and their tails are up. They're starting to, steam it out of their own half. Good offload.
Yeah, good carry from Jackson Fa'avonga. As the Scorpions playing with a little bit of a spring in their step now. Tuala into dummy half. Misses out Blatcher, goes out the back door to George, and it's a spiraled kick down towards the corner. Montgomery's pretty onto it with the chase, but that one will drift out. But that's a good result for the Scorpions at the end of that set. Always good when you can complete after a try. It's a really key area of the game to, I guess, maintain momentum after scoring points. And the Leopards now will work it off about their 20-metre line.
And look at the field position, back to where they were a few minutes ago. You know, so Otara are playing a good game plan at the moment, keeping them down here, and Otahuhu will have to, you know, at least complete this set of 6 and try and mount a wee bit of pressure.
So the Leopards get play back underway, and it's a big tackle there led by Dave Ezekiel.
Good step.
Yeah, nice little bit of footwork there from the 4 for the Leopards. Motu Moi Vavai. A strong carry there from Katamiro Otara. Brody Clark with a little show, a little go, sticks his head through, and there's into some space here. The support coming. Clark looking round for it in the end, well tackled by Pulianga. Out towards the right. They've got the numbers here if they can get it there. The Leopards takes an unfortunate bounce really for them. It's cleaned up in the back there, and we wait for the call we're going to get. We may have a little knock on in here, Troy. We'll wait for confirmation on that one. But nice play from the half. Brody Clark just showing the little dummy and running through, taking on the line, making sure he keeps those defenders honest, and on that occasion found a little bit of success.
Just on that one, mate, I wasn't too sure what the tackle count was. Were we at the end of it or in the middle of it?
I think we were getting towards the end of it. If it wasn't last tackle, it would have been
okay.
4th tackle, I would think.
So Otahuhu get the feed, and
yeah, so it was a Scorpions mistake there in the end, as Doyle now chimes into the line and he gets close, about 3 metres off. Clark into dummy half, directing a little bit of traffic. They head back towards the sticks. Otara with the carry up towards the sticks and takes plenty of defenders with him.
Otahuhu desperate to reply here to the try that's just been scored against them, and they're hitting the line. He's next to the upright.
Connor Purcell getting very close there. They've got some big bodies as Otara heads towards the left. He's going to look to run the little decoy here. Very slow play the ball. Spins out the back, and they've isolated the second rower, and that is going to be a try for the Otahuhu Leopards. Atanasio Kuia isolated on his edge there, and then too big and too strong to stop from that distance. So the Leopards hit back with a try in the corner, all started by the brilliance of Brody Clark, who made that line break earlier, broke a couple of tackles and got them into that field positioning. We then had a Scorpions error which handed them back-to-back uses of the ball, and the Leopards take full advantage of that one. So a good reply from the Leopards. Faced a little bit of adversity there with the Scorpions playing with a real spring in their step and building a little bit of pressure.
So we're just over 20-odd minutes in, Corey, and the momentum of the game looked like it was all Otara down there, you know, with field position and what have you, and it's good to see Otahuhu in the first time down inside the 20. They come up with a try and put some points on the board. Yeah,
I think they'll get a lot of confidence out of that one, and it was a well-handled set, really. There was plenty of organising going on from the likes of Clark, the halfback. So we wait for the ball for the conversion, and Geronimo Doyle is going to attempt the conversion here.
It's going to be a hard one too, right out there on the sideline. The wind's coming across the park, so from the kicker through to the club room's end, and I dare say it's got a wee bit of a southerly blast on it, so if you are coming down here, don't come down in shorts.
Speaking from experience, as Troy Hardy rocking the denim shorts today.
Yep.
Peculiar choice of clothing for winter rugby league, but they breed them tough. Out where you're from, Troy?
Yeah, mate. Well, all rugby league people are tough. And that's not a bad strike.
Strikes him, it's just away to the right, as you mentioned. It was a pretty good strike, maybe caught a little bit of the wind there, or maybe a little bit of overcompensating. Pushes it out towards the right, so the Scorpions will lead 6 points to 4 as we approach the halfway point of this first half here at Bert Hennon Park in the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup, the Auckland Rugby League's live stream game for you today, and we will be bringing you games every week from now until the end of the season. Next week, very much looking forward to heading out to Jack Colvin Park, the home of the Te Atatū Roosters, for the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership match against the Mount Albert Lions. As the Scorpions get us back underway,
off the boot of Pulianga.
Oh,
And an error off the kickoff.
yeah, it's his taped hand too, I think.
Yeah, Clark is clutching at a finger there, so you hope that there's no injury there. He looks in a little bit of pain as he's holding that wrist. He's going to stay on the field for the time being. And the Scorpions, unsurprisingly...
The second row has shown a bit of grit today.
Yeah, Michael Blatcher, he was included in KiwiLeagueCentral.com's top 10 Sharman Cup players last year. A really consistent performer for them, brings a lot of leadership. A veteran, he's played for the North Shore clubs, East Coast Bays, Northcote.
Excuse me. Bit of coughing going on today here.
They near up towards the line and shift it out towards the left, and Pulianga with a little show. Tucks it back under the wing. Tackled a few metres off the line. Tuala now. Out wide to George. Tackled well, and in the end his own teammate almost gets involved in the tackle. Helps bring him down. Tuala, dummies to the left, darts out to the right, little kick in behind, and another...
No, he said play on.
Okay, well, so perhaps a fortuitous call there for Otahuhu. Looked like it might have clipped Clark's hand, but play on is the call, so the Leopards dodge a bullet there, perhaps. No. And the ball has come loose, and while it wasn't dodged for long, Troy, there's the error.
Just as they're getting ready to play that knock on, Corey, I'd like to welcome all of our fans in from Brisbane. Big fan base last week that joined us from Australia, so good to see all the people that are overseas, you know, joining us here for the Auckland Rugby League live stream. And if you are overseas today, please like or share on the Facebook page or make a comment. And, you know, more the merrier. Join us. We're going to, as Corey said earlier, live next week with the SAS Fox Memorial at Tiratu's home ground up against the Point Chevalier Pirates. Back to the game.
So as the Scorpions head out towards the left, and a little rushed offload there. Might have crept forward. Play on's going to be the call. So the Scorpions make some good ground there now and march up towards the 20-metre mark. And the Leopards now being asked to do a little bit of defensive work. It's going to test their fitness and resilience a little bit here. As Pulianga Toia Fafoa carries forward.
Three Otahuhu Leopards in that tackle too.
Dave Ezekiel, and they go short, but it's forward, and it was nice play, really well executed at first by the Scorpions, but it's just drifted forward. And
all the fan base up on the top of Bert Hinman Hill here, all the horns are going off. So you know, again, there's plenty. There's a few car parks left up there. If you want to come and join us, swing in, and let's hear your hooter as well.
And Troy, you mentioned that the Australian audience that tuned in last week, and one of the real beauties of live streaming games is that you can watch from anywhere in the world. It's not like a TV network where you have to pick it up in different countries. So no matter where you are in the world, if you're on holiday or away for work or you're living abroad now, you jump online and you can watch this whatever time it may be in your corner of the world.
Absolutely. Computer, laptop, smartphones. The stream is coming to you courtesy of our streaming partners, CTAS, and a big thank you to Grant and his team. All of those boys down here working hard today out in the cold, and bringing you the game live courtesy of Auckland Rugby League with our stream partners, CTAS.
I dare say we got the better job today, Troy, under the nice tent here, the nice Auckland Rugby League tent, while the streaming boys stand in the conditions. But the rain has died off for now, and just a bit of a cold breeze, but it is a really good tackle.
And the referee was happy with that tackle too.
Yeah, it was good contact from...
Kick's gone up.
Number 16, Regan Tierra there.
Blowing around a wee bit there in the wind conditions.
Yeah, causing a few troubles there on the kick defusal, and it is starting to really pick up here, the wind, which is going to start affecting those last tackle plays, I dare say. Interesting to see how both teams adapt as the Scorpions march up over halfway, and the fullback, Mikhaili,
we should just make a note about our time clock on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be indicative to the match manager's time. The match manager's time clock over on the other side of the field is what the players will be playing to, and that's just due to the fact that we can't pick up stoppage from time to time.
So the Scorpions now with a really good chance to extend that lead. They're currently leading 6 points to 4. And for those of you who may just be joining the stream or aren't familiar with the teams, the Scorpions are in the red today and the Leopards in the blue, as that kick is well fielded at the back by Geronimo Doyle. So the Leopards showing some good resilience here to defend a couple of raids from the Scorpions. And now work it off their line and could really use a penalty here or something to get them out of trouble.
As Otahuhu now starts to carry it out of there, 20 again, big hits, long running, hard run there from the second rower. Big hello to all of the support base up on the balcony deck at the Otahuhu Leopards. They've got their executive up there and all their supporter base, you know, sitting in the warmth of the upstairs clubroom, having a couple of quiet green teas as they're watching the match.
And they got the right idea, as the Leopards finish a pretty good set there, but the kick is well returned by the Scorpions. It's the number 7, George Pulianga. George gets into dummy half. Terrence Montgomery now.
Good offload.
Short side play and a nice little offload, and he's isolated his man. It's Samuel Hoanga.
Samuel had the beautiful in the air high step, side step.
Blatcher now takes it up towards about 5 metres out, and again they get the offload. The second phase now starting to hurt the Leopards as Otara head back towards the middle of the sticks, and met in a good tackle there was Jackson Fa'avonga. Tuala into dummy half. Little shuffle out towards the left, and he finds his man, Paulinga Tuafafoa, who goes over from the short distance and will extend the lead for the Otara Scorpions. But they just managed to build pressure there, Troy, and eventually it told on the Leopards. They had to do a whole lot of defensive work in the last probably 10 minutes or so, and eventually it tails there with a try close to the line.
True, I think it came off the back of a really good kick. You know, they got the correct field position, and as you said, you know, they built their pressure and momentum from that. And Otara Scorpions getting ready to kick. This should be a fairly easy kick in regards to where he's going to line up from. Otahuhu, I dare say, you know, they'll be wanting to get better field position themselves and to complete their set of 6. I don't know if they've had the ball as much as Otara. Otara's obviously, you know, had the majority of field position and also volume share on the footy. So they'll be wanting now to get a wee bit energised, to get a wee bit of chat going. I think Otara's probably got more of communication happening on the field than Otahuhu. So, you know, that might be something that John might address at the halftime mark. If you have just joined us, you know, we're coming live from Burnt Hedman, and the sun's just breaking out now, which is, you know, I'm thankful for, Corey, because I'm frozen. I look like an Eskimo, but, you know, it's looking like it could be a solid second half, and as long as the weather holds, we might actually see the team start to open up as well.
So Raymond Mikaeli to attempt the kick.
Good
and
strong kick.
Through, and apologies, got the kicker wrong on that one. It was George Pulianga, who takes the Scorpions out to a 12-4 lead as we approach the back end of this first half. And about 8 minutes ago in this first half in the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup, a clash between two South Auckland heavyweights, really. Two teams who, speaking to them midweek, they both feel like they belong in the first division. They don't feel like they belong at Sharman Cup level. Both got clear aspirations to go back up. Of course, we saw the Scorpions up in the SAS Fox Memorial competition a couple of years ago, and the Leopards getting relegated from that comp for the first time last year. And here we see a big spirited carry, and it's a brave man who gets in the way of that one, but it was a pretty good effort from Philippe Va'afisi.
Philippe Va'avisi,
who met him head on, and now the Otara big boys getting into the action as they march up towards halfway, and there's good meters in the offering here. Another good carry there. I think that one may have been Iloni Tofa. And again, Iloni with the ball, so plenty of involvement here. Introduced a couple of boys off the bench, and it's starting to tell. And we've got a little head knock here, I think, for Tofa.
Don't have to get him checked.
And we have time off as we wait for medical staff come on and just give them a little check out there.
So 10 minutes to go into the first half, and the coach brings on a couple of big boppers, and you can just see the way the momentum changed straight from that kick-off, Corey. Looks like he's okay to play on.
And not what they needed there. The Leopards giving away the penalty. And with the lead currently at 12-4, 2 points, probably not much use for the Scorpions. You would think they will kick for touch. And indeed they will. George Pulianga lining up for the kick. So good to see Taufa has shaken off that knock. I think maybe more a cut to the head than anything else. So up on his feet and looking good and raring to go as he prepares for a carry here as the Scorpions start this set. And Dave Ezekiel taking on a physical two-man tackle from the Leopards. Tuala heads back towards the right.
Otahuhu starting to hold off too a little bit. They're going a bit high.
Kolonga Toafafoa with the carry forward and the short ball there. Isolates Leo Fatulasone, the 20-year-old. One of a number of players who's come across from Otahuhu to the Scorpions this year. And Pulianga now, a big cutout pass, and it's a quality ball. Misses out 3, but scrambled well in the end by the Leopards. Pulianga shuffles the ball back towards the sticks, and George now has the ball, and what's he going to do with it? He's going to dummy, poke his head through. Nothing in the offering here. Last tackle, Scorpions. Tuala into dummy half. And another short kick from him, and they're going to shepherd it dead, and it is going to roll dead. But enterprising play there from the Scorpions. But once again, I think the Leopards will be pretty happy to have defended that one. They're getting their numbers, they're scrambling well, they're working well as a unit. I know they're behind on the scoreboard right now, but I think pretty positive signs from Otahuhu here that they are well and truly in this one. And plenty to like about their performance so far.
Again, Otahuhu running outside their half, and so great little run there, good metres. Otara, to me, seemed to have a wee bit of the size on the Otahuhu boys, Corey, especially with a couple of their reserves that have just come on. And Otahuhu now just trying to complete the 6, and oh, that was close. Complete the 6 and get a bit of momentum. So here we come now, probably one of maybe 4 occasions in the Otara half. And this is the last, so let's see what they do here now. No, faked.
Yeah.
Tackle.
Ball has spilt out, but play on's the call, and we will pack down a scrum there for the error on the last.
No, I think it's a turnover, mate. It was the last. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, apologies for that. It is indeed a turnover. You're right, Troy. So probably not the finish the Leopards wanted to that one. Although anytime you finish a set inside the opposition 20, it's a pretty good result. Scorpions now work it out and expect to see the outside backs get involved here, along with some of the big fellas who we mentioned earlier. Been really strong since coming on. But the ball has been spilt now, and here's a good chance for the Leopards, and they've got Otara on the back foot. Taufa into dummy half. Met in a physical tackle there. Battling for the quick play. The ball eventually gets to his feet. We've got a number 9 on the field, ladies and gentlemen, but no 9 listed on the team list for the Leopards, so we'll try and confirm that one for you at half-time. The ID on that player, perhaps we've had a jersey change, does happen from time to time as the Leopards now move the ball out towards the right edge. Richard Holani, the 20-year-old, he's come over from Currumbin in Australia. As Clark dummies and just gives up the play a little bit there to avoid a shepherd call. So a little scurry there out of dummy half. The Leopards camps right up on the line and they go to the right. Scorpions getting there in numbers. The ball's somewhere around the ground, but it's going to be ruled as held up by our referee, Aaron Kesher. So the Scorpions tick that one off. A good effort from them there to hold the Leopards out. And Otara in no rush to get things back underway here. Perhaps enjoying the rest after what was a pretty frantic set there. The drop ball up near halfway, causing them really to have to defend that set on the back foot. They did well to get there in the end and hold on as Montgomery comes infield. And really vital that the outside backs get involved here. It's been a pretty taxing game with minimal errors. The ball's been in play a lot. And some of the big fellas starting to show the signs here as we approach the final 2 minutes of this half. Tuala goes short. Finds his lock forward. Jackson Fa'avonga. 5 and last, and George goes into dummy half. Spreads it out to his hooker, Tuala, who hands it off again to Pulianga, who puts a high one. And this will be a test in the wind, but brought down safely by our 18, Va'afusoanga. And so as we enter the final minute of this half, the Leopards with the last chance of the game, you would think, to try and register some points. 12 points to 4. Otara lead Otahuhu at this point. For those of you just joining, or if you're not familiar with the teams, Otara in the red and Otahuhu in the blue. And they've got a penalty here, and if they're quick, they will get one last set on the line here. As we mentioned, our clock is not perfectly in line with the match manager's clock, so it will be a little bit out there, but by our count, there are a few seconds remaining, and as I say that, the siren goes in the background, so they'll get one chance with the ball here, the Leopards. And don't be surprised if you see a deep kick and try and get one of those speedsters on the end of it. And they spread it instead, and Clark dummies, heads out the back door. They've got to be a little bit careful here that it doesn't spill out.
They've done the Hail Mary.
Tofa with it, and I think he'll just be happy to rest on the ball there and get us to half-time. So that'll do us for the first half of the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup live stream match between the Otara Scorpions and the Otahuhu Leopards. And it's the visitors with a 12-4 lead at the break. And as we cut to our half-time show, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you a little update from the Auckland Rugby League. Do stay with us. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time. And in the meantime, an update from the Auckland Rugby League about what's been going on around the grounds.
In the SAS Fox Memorial, the Root Rooster Challenge Trophy is on the line between Point Chevalier and Glenora at the Unitech Sports Field. We also have a bottom of the table clash between Te Aratu and Mangaria East at Walter Massey Park. The Auckland Rugby League will be holding another open training session for the Women's Vulcans team. If you haven't had the chance to trial, head along on Sunday, tomorrow morning, 9 to 11 AM. If you didn't make the counties Manukau or Akaranga sides, you can still trial, come along, it'll be lots of fun. In other news, our
and just as we've gone to the half-time break, Otara against Otahuhu Leopards down at Bert Hedman. Otara leading 12 points to 4, and we're going to cross very shortly to our half-time break.
From the 19th of May 2017. Just like to acknowledge and thank everyone that I've worked alongside over the last 5 to 6 years. Definitely would love to acknowledge the Auckland Rugby League staff that have helped me progress through and develop as an employee. Also like to thank obviously the clubs in terms of their roles over the last 5-6 years that I've been here. Been really enjoyed working alongside with a lot of our clubs, and I definitely would love to acknowledge the volunteers, because without our volunteers we wouldn't have the game that we have today. So again, as a whole, and just a wrap up of my role being here at Auckland, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone.
We also have our Under 6s Gala Day at the Pukeranga Rugby League Club. 8 o'clock at registrations. Bring your team, your ball and your beer sport bibs, and we will see you there. We have our Sharman Cup captains who will talk to us about who they think are the next big gun club in the 2017 Sharman Cup competition.
There'll be a few top teams this year. I think Otahuhu will be able to prove a point, getting relegated from the Fox Memorial. Also, Bay Roskell, last year's grand finalists. They're always going to be tough to beat, and even Otara as well. They've got a few boys back from Papakura, so I think our pool's going to be quite a tough pool. But yeah, that's the way it goes.
The gun team, I think, in the Sharman Cup is going to be Otahuhu, as I've took up from Fox. So big expectations for them, I think.
The gun team to watch out for. I'll say us, Magpies, better watch out. You gotta watch out.
The team to watch out for would probably be Ponce and BA. Because the team's coming from all over from the Fox. So yeah.
Gun team Sharman Cup probably be Otahuhu.
I'll go for Otahuhu. Otahuhu will be the gun team to watch out for in the Sharman Cup. That would have to be Otahuhu.
This year. Definitely Otahuhu.
The gun team will probably be Otahuhu. Obviously, being relegated down to Sharman, they'll be in full force trying to get back up to Fox. Other than that, I think we're good to go to play in, so can't wait.
The gun teams to watch this year in the Sharman Cup is definitely Otara. You know, we're here to play. We showed it yesterday, and we're ready for the season. We're there to crack the Fox. I know Otahuhu, the club that I've played for, and they're hungrier. You know, but Otara's gonna have to delay them in their process to getting back in the Fox.
Welcome back to the Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup match between the Otahuhu Leopards and the Otara Scorpions.